Harriet, we've said earlier, it's a conversation, but it's also an investigation. You, as the candidate, aren't the only one in the hot seat. It can feel that way, but you're checking out that organization as well. You're trying to get a feel for who it is you might want to lead, work for, or work with. How do you do that effectively as a candidate? What I'm really asking is, what kinds of questions should you be thinking about asking, and how do you receptively listen to what they're saying so you can form your own impression of whether you want to work there?
It's a combination. I mean, Sandra mentioned earlier about doing preparation and doing your due diligence on the company and the people. And so that may give you some questions that you are curious about or that you want to ask. You want to know about their culture or how decisions are made. Now, your questions can be tailored to the various interviewers. So, for example, if it's the HR person, then things around development or culture or the team environment and so on may be important. If it's the CFO, maybe it's around financial reporting and how information gets shared. How open are they about sharing information? And what sort of expectations around analysis were there, et cetera. So it's thinking about your questions directed to the target individual or the target audience. If I put on my interviewer training hat for a moment and setting up interviewing systems, we would assign to the respective interviewers what part of the job or what part of the company they were going to give information about. That will also help to guide your questions. Hopefully they're not only asking for information, they're also giving you information. And so staying present in that conversation, as Maxine mentioned, and being natural about the questions that come to mind. It's so important that you are also interviewing the organization, because at the end of the day, it's a mutual decision. When they make that offer, you then need to think about, do I really want to work there, all things being equal, and do I really want to work with these individuals? And the only way you're going to glean that is really to ask. And all of the tips and tidbits that you've been given for virtual interviewing, which you may have practiced with one of us or whatever, that's all well and good, but the interviewer may not have that same benefit. I've heard horror stories about, Tony's smiling because I think I told one once a while ago.
I
It
love your
wasn't,
horror stories. That's why I'm smiling.
oh, is that why you want me to tell it? So I was coaching a woman and we practiced, and she was given wonderful tips through a handout from a company about being prepared for her Zoom interview. The hiring manager who was interviewing her, number one, wasn't paying attention. I've noticed with my friends, honestly, that I have to look at the camera, not down at the screen where I can see everyone. Otherwise, you're going to get my forehead or whatever. So that was one mistake. But then at one point during the interview, suddenly the camera was shaking, and she thought, oh, we're walking. And she realizes she's in a hallway. Oh, nice family photos. Oh, there's the ceiling. And then the computer was down on a counter. It was obviously the kitchen. She heard the refrigerator and grabbing something. Back they went down the hallway. And then all of a sudden she thought, oh my gosh, we're now sitting on the bed. This is awkward. And she noticed this gentleman had a button-down shirt on, not all the way buttoned, and like gym shorts. And she thought, oh my God, this is way too much information about my potential hiring manager.